I have this cute illustration that I painted like 10 years ago, and I really like it. It's a cute little fox boy, and I wonder, can I paint it again? Can I copy my own art? I painted it with watercolors, and watercolors, I really like them because they are a little unpredictable. You can control them to some degree, but most of the effects that I really like, when they bleed, they flow one into another, the colors mix themselves. This is why I fall in love with watercolors. So I know that I can't recreate this little illustration 100%, but I will try. I painted it 10 years ago, and I haven't recorded it how I painted this, because that was times when Instagram was still photos. So yeah, I don't have Instagram now. I have YouTube. So I'm making this video. I recorded the whole process. I had to make some pauses because my camera could record only like 20 something minutes. So I'm painting. I'm not sure if I was using black in this illustration. And this dark is indigo and sepia, and I add then a little bit of black. I don't have most of those colors that I used then, but I remember that I really like indigo, I like sepia, I like those earth tones like umbra, sienna, ochre. So this is what I will use. I try to control over here how the paint flows and blur on those feathers. And 10 years ago I painted this illustration as a poster. For a poster I had a little business. I had a little business when I was printing and selling posters. I don't have this business anymore, but this original illustration that I try to recreate here, so this original illustration is available as a notebook cover on my Amazon, so you can check it and buy it if you like it. And when I was painting this now, I doubted myself, like, can I really do this? Can I paint it? This is so cute. Can I recreate this? And then I had to remind myself that I am the one who painted the original illustration that I now try to recreate. So yes, I can do this. I can paint it. So yeah, watercolors are a little bit difficult, and creating something requires some faith in yourself, faith that you can do this, you can paint it. So when you doubt yourself in the middle of the process, then remember that you can do it. Just continue, keep going, and you can create something amazing. And this little boy, it was a part of a series of 4 little characters like that. There was a boy, a cat boy, and a cat girl, and a little sheep girl, and there was little stories behind each of these characters. I think this boy was named Tony, Little Tony, but maybe the cat boy was Little Tony. I don't know, but I remember that one of them was planting mountains, like you plant carrots or radishes. He was planting mountains. He was throwing stones, and they grew and grew and grew and became mountains. And now I'm watching myself painting. And you know, it's really amazing that we as artists can create something from nothing, and just moments ago it was a blank page. And some brush strokes, some paint, and look, it's a boy who can plant mountains. What a little amount of paint can do. And some patience and focus and practice. I wonder how much I improved after those 10 years. I didn't paint it for 10 years straight after I closed my little business. But I know more than I knew then. Some of that I teach in my videos. I have a video about how I paint with watercolors. I definitely improved, but I like this cute little character with fox ears and fox tail. So I wanted to just paint it again. This red that I'm using now, it's not the red that I was using originally. I have no idea what red I was using there. This is scarlet red. It's a very pretty orangey red, and I really like it, but I noticed later that how I painted this fox now, it's more saturated. You may think that after 10 years the watercolors that I used then 10 years ago faded, but not at all. I use professional watercolors that don't fade that quickly, at least, and it was stored far off the sunlight, so I just painted it a very muted, very not saturated colors, and I think I like it better now. At some point I thought that I ruined those feathers. I really like how I painted them 10 years ago, but I lifted some paint. You can do this when you have good quality watercolor paper, like I use 100% cotton paper. This one is from Arche. I will link, I won't link, but I will write what materials I used in description, so you can check. So when you use good quality watercolor paper, you can lift some paint, not much. There are some paints that goes really deep in the paper and you can't lift them, but many colors you can lift, especially if the paint is still wet. And I lifted also this scarlet red on his cheeks because it didn't turn out as I wanted, but I paint for years, so I have some skills to know how to correct my mistakes. And yeah, my hair, and I am still in the frame, but this is the reality of recording yourself when you can't check how you look. I checked, I check what's in the frame, like can you see what I'm painting? But when I'm doing this, I'm not in the frame anymore, so I don't know if I'm in the frame when I'm painting. I could look, I could have on my phone what my camera shows, but I don't use that option too much because it eats too much battery in my camera. So yeah, I'm the artist, I'm the author of this illustration, so how else can I show myself in my videos if not just covering half of the screen with my hair and my arm. I do everything myself. I record, I paint, I edit my videos, so it's like that. But now I'm making fine lines, the contours, and I'm using a brush from Kuretake. I really like this brush for making fine lines because it holds a good amount of paint, and I'm planning of making a video how to paint fine lines with a brush and watercolors or ink, and I will show you then what brush I was using before, because I thought that if you want to paint very fine lines, you have to use like a brush who had 2 or 3 hairs, and 2 or 3 hairs don't hold a good amount of water, so I could like every 5 seconds dip my brush in paint, and that was a very annoying process. So now I'm painting with my Kuretake brush. Also check in description because I can't remember what the name is. It's Menso, Zig, Kolinsky, Cartoonist, something long, but it's from Kuretake and I really like this brand. I use paints from Kuretake and Karapo pens, inks and brushes. Painting those fine lines at the end is a very satisfying process because it's like framing everything and keep it together. At the end I also almost forgot to paint the background, and on the wet paint I put some salt. So those are those 2 illustrations side by side. The original was bigger. I keep saying that it's a little illustration because it's a little Tony, or I don't know, I have to now remind myself what was his name, but it's a little character and no details in the background, so it's a little illustration. And yeah, so you can't copy 100% watercolors because of the unique effects that watercolors produce. But it was a fun experience, and thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye!